and I don't bring this concept in by this definition, but I do in the newest book, as I call it reverse optimism. And that means when you can look back and go, okay, I know why this thing happened and this thing happened and this thing happened. All these things happened to lead me to this other place, right? And so, and that's one of the things I would like more people to understand and grasp is when you can see the things that may not have been what you wished for, or may have been a really difficult time. They can often take you to a higher place and a better learning when you can look back at them. And then the next time you go through something bad, you have enough experience to go, okay, I know that I know enough to know that this actually, if I take this the right way, I can take it to a better place. So, because any reason that the 5 reasons why bad things happen, what they all have in common is to get you to change something. So it's some message from somewhere. What are you going to change? And then you make that change. Or, oh, I wouldn't have gone down this path if this thing hadn't happened. So, so if anybody's struggling with anything, that would be the advice I have is like, what's the lesson in there? What needs to change? And you'll make that change, and then you can get right back on track and have a happier life.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. I mean, most people I find it takes I know for me, most definitely there, if I look back and I haven't heard it called or referred to as reverse optimism, but I can definitely, look back on my life and think, oh, and that I talk about in my book, uh, different decisions I would have made. I didn't really want to go to the University of Kentucky. I wanted to get away from my friends, from high school. I
right.
wanted to branch out and I didn't. But had I not done that, then I might not actually have the two kids I've got, right?
Yeah.
And I, and so that was a really kind of a dark year for me of like Prozac and I failed out of my freshman year, but it was again a learning opportunity for me. And when I actually can look back at some of I mean, I was like sinking.
Mm.
And I remember I created basically a mantra poster board. And I'd had this breakup. I was just like a mess, total mess. I guess my
Mhm.
parents had just gotten divorced. I was glad about it, but on the same token, like divorce is hard, whether or not you know it's the correct thing for your parents or even if you can totally understand why it's taking place, it's just not always easy. And so I had created this mantra board and then I attached myself to Gloria Gaynor's song, I Will Survive.
Yeah.
So I had the Audible, I was singing it, I was looking at it, and I pulled myself out of a flunking semester and then I left that school. But it took me, I'm like, oh shit, my parents are gonna kill me. They're gonna, they're gonna quit paying for college. I better
Right.
get my act together.
Right. And think of what you learned from that. And so therefore you can go back to those experiences and go, look what I learned. This is what got me, got me down this path. And, last year I published 4 books, and one of the books I published is called The Hero's Playbook, and it follows the hero's journey. And one of the aspects of the hero's journey is, and if anybody knows, it's Joseph Campbell. They call it the monomyth. Star Wars was written actually to follow step by step the framework of the hero's journey, right? And the whole message there is the hero's got to go through some difficult times in order to become the hero, right?